Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on the benefits of eDoc, one of a continuing series of educational webinars from WindowBook. My name is Monica Lundquist, and I am Postal Affairs and Technical Support Manager here at WindowBook. Assisting me today is Steve Dowdy, our Mailing Industry Software Specialist. The specific agenda items that we'll be covering during today's webinar: what is eDoc? A little bit about the Postal One system. The benefits, both to the Postal Service and to mailers, of using eDoc and Postal One. Why you should be using eDoc. The tools you need to process eDoc, and a short demo showing how electronic documents are submitted using Postal One. We'll then wrap up with a Q&A session at the end. To understand the history of electronic documentation, it's helpful to review the Postal Accountability and Enhancement Act, or PAEA, which was passed by Congress in 2006. This act did a number of things to force changes regarding how the Postal Service operates and conducts business. For example, PAEA provides more flexibility for the Postal Service to offer competitive pricing for its shipping services. It also allows the Postal Service to respond better to market conditions and the needs of customers. It creates service standards that enhance the value of postal services by offering more consistent delivery. The Act also established the Postal Regulatory Commission, or PRC, which, along with Congress, watches over the Postal Service, particularly the service performance measurements. And most importantly to our subject today, the Act required the Postal Service to become SOX compliant by the end of fiscal year 2010. SOX is an acronym for Sarbanes-Oxley. You may be familiar with the name of this legislation, which was passed in 2002 by Congress, and it was done in the wake of the Enron scandal and other allegations of corporate wrongdoing. This act calls for much more rigid accounting and auditing requirements to help ensure visibility and accountability for financial transactions. It's helpful to understand this because if you want to know what will be required by mailers from the Postal Service, you also need to know what is being required of the Postal Service. Essentially, what all this means is that the Postal Service is now required to maintain more complete and more accurate data about the mail that they receive from mailers. And in order to do this, the Postal Service now asks for data that is not handwritten and, for ease of auditing, is available electronically. Now, although electronic documentation was available before SOX, its use was not prevalent, and this act really was the birth of the electronic documentation, or eDoc, system development. So, what exactly is meant by the term electronic documentation, or eDoc? Essentially, this is the transformation of the mail acceptance process within the Postal Service from hard copy documentation to the submission of these documents via electronic web services for business mailers. It provides for postal business to be conducted online, with virtually no more hard copies of mailing documents. Not only is this beneficial for improved accuracy and accessibility of data to meet the SOX requirements, it has the added benefit of reduced manual labor, both by the Postal Service and mailers. Probably the most important thing to note from today's webinar is to clear up a common misconception, and that is that that eDoc is exclusively tied to Intelligent Mail Full Service. The fact is, business mailers can participate in eDoc with or without using Intelligent Mail. Now, it is important to note that if you are using Intelligent Mail Full Service, eDoc is a requirement. It's not optional. And also, in order to take advantage of the Intelligent Mail Full Service discounts, you also need to use the Intelligent Mail barcode and submit electronic documentation. Both of those are requirements. Of equal importance, the Postal Service is now making eDoc a requirement of many of the incentive programs that are available to mailers. A recent example of this was the mobile barcode incentive that was available in 2011. And this involved a 3% discount off of postage for mail pieces that contained mobile barcodes. This incentive is being repeated again in 2012, this time with a 2% discount, and of course, again, will require eDoc. Now, this is a sign that this will likely be the case for most, if not all, future incentive programs from the Postal Service. So, we encourage all mailers to use eDoc, regardless